Can your business grow like clockwork? The answer is absolutely yes, but you've got to have marketing working for your business. And our special guest today is going to share an awesome way to accomplish this. It is called Advocacy Marketing. You don't want to miss this conversation. Hi, I am Tim Fitzpatrick with Rialto Marketing, where we believe you must remove your revenue roadblocks to accelerate growth, and marketing shouldn't be difficult. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. I am super excited to have Billy Robbins with Intent Company with me today. Billy, welcome and thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm excited to dig into this with you. Before we do so, I want to ask you a few rapid fire questions so we get to know you.
Yeah.
So, dude, let's jump in, man.
Okay.
When you're not working, how do you like to spend your time?
Usually hanging with my family. So whatever my kids are into, I'm kind of into. So, like my 10-year-old, big into soccer and Fortnite. So I spend a lot of time. I'm terrible at Fortnite, man. Those 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
They're tough, bro.
That's good, man. How many kids do you have?
Well, it depends how you define a kid, right?
Okay.
So I have one biological son. He's 10 years old. I have one daughter that we adopted when she was 7 years old, but now she's 21. And then we have two other 20-year-olds that live with us that we have pseudo adopted and just have them in our home and doing life with them and stuff. So dude, we love the kids. So we got between 1 and 4, depending on how you want to define it. But
cool. I love it. What's your hidden talent?
My hidden talent that people know about? Maybe Rubik's Cube. I like solving Rubik's Cubes.
Dude, you might be dating yourself a little bit by talking about the Rubik's Cube.
I am. There it is. That's another one, though. The kids, if you ever watch on YouTube, you got like these 12-year-olds, like 4 seconds. It's like unbelievable.
I just remember I was never good at Rubik's Cube. But there is a method to the madness.
No, there is. It is actually. It's all formula. And actually, I always say there's so many analogies with marketing because, like, basically, you've just got to be able to address the situation.
Yeah.
Know what you're looking at, and then know the right formula to get out of it.
Yeah.
And actually, the reason I even got into this was again because my 10-year-old actually was about 4 years ago. He goes to Target with mom, and he's like, "Oh, I want that," right? So he gets a toy and then comes home and he's all like, I have no idea how to do this. Dad, fix it. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So, when you don't know how to figure out, what do? You go to YouTube University, right?
Yeah.
How to solve a Rubik's Cube. And I sat there all night long trying to learn it, wrote down these flashcards, figuring out. And by the time I figured out how to do it, I was hooked. The kid never even played with the thing. And I'm all like, it's like my toy.
Yeah. He's like, Dad, can I have my Rubik's Cube back? What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Make serving people the priority.
I love it. There's so much great advice, right? And as entrepreneurs, there's so many things that we've learned. It's just it's always hard to pick one.
I find that the things that are most important to learn are like these eternal truths that are just like this. It's like a foundation you put everything on. One of the things we talk about in our business is serve people, solve problems. And it sounds like almost like a cliche little thing to say, but actually if you at any given time interaction with a client, team, people, whatever situation, you say, am I serving the people I'm called to serve? Am I solving the problem I'm called to solve? Yeah. And that answers a lot of things in business and marketing.
What's success mean to you?
Fulfilling all that God has called me to do.
Where's your happy place?
On the couch with my family.
And what qualities do you value in the time in the people that you spend time with?
I want them to have passion for something. I don't even care what it is, but I want people that are passionate, people that are optimistic, people that want more, and they're willing to do things to get it, take risks. Yeah.
I love it, man. Tell us more about what you're doing with the Intent Company.
Yeah. So, Intent Company, we started little over 7 years ago. I've been in full service digital marketing for the last 19 years and, started a few agencies, buried a few agencies, did corporate, executive marketing, got to work with really big companies for about 7 years. And then, 7 years ago, went back out on my own and made the decision that that's actually where one of that phrases came up, the serve people, solve problems. And I decided that if I was going in this agency, I was only going to work with companies that I had direct connection with the founder who started the company, because people start companies because of these passions, right?
Yeah.
Now, like you have that's what usually you think about it, right? The reason why you start a business is you see a problem that's in the world that you feel uniquely suited to solve. So you want to go after it and you feel like you can do it better. Maybe you learn that skill in a trade or in a whatever, but then you decide I'm going to go solve this problem. Or you have a people group that you feel like a connection to go in serve, right?
Yeah.
And for me, it's entrepreneurs. I love entrepreneurs. I love people that take risks. I love people that are willing to go and try something new to get more. And so that was really important. And then marketing and technology and all those things is like a passion of mine. So that's the way that I can help, solve some of their problems. But I remember early on, I made 2 promises when I started my business. Number one, I said, I want to do work that I love with people I love and for people I love. And so I use that as a thing. My team are people I genuinely care about and I want to deposit into their life.
Yeah.
The clients that we are, the people that that we're serving are people that I generally care about their mission and what they're after. And then I only want to do work, the type of marketing that's exciting to me. It's marketing, it's business, it's this, it's that. But I want to work on activities that I find passion and fire in and stay in that place.
Man, if you can check all those boxes, life is good, right?
Yeah. You got to be intentional. You got to be intent.
Yeah. And you have to know where you want to go, right?
Yep.
So we're obviously going to talk marketing, man. You and I are both in the space. So
yeah,
why does most marketing fail?
Well, I mean, one reason why marketing fails big time today is that there is no predetermined expectation. If you think about it, I think one of the biggest hindrances to businesses growth is I call the shiny new toy syndrome, right? We are constantly bombarded with the Google did this and TikTok came out and that thing and this other thing. And we're chasing all of these tactics. We chase all these little tactics and we got to build the funnel and do the thing. And if you buy the course with the challenge thing and the stuff, and it's not that any of those things independently are bad marketing strategies, where it's not well, that funnel stuff's garbage or that email thing. It's no, it's that you're taking a tool like a hammer, but it's not part of a blueprint. It's not I see the empty lot. I can see what we're going to build. We know the people, the timing, the place, and the things, and we put all this stuff together to go and achieve something intentionally.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's one of the major reasons, because when you're doing haphazard random marketing activity, typically you don't even know what success looks like. You don't know how long you should persevere. You try it, you get frustrated, and then you give up and you try something else.
Yeah.
And most leaders of companies, they're the ones, right? Most leaders of companies are visionaries. So they see the vision, they see their competitor doing the Insta thing, the YouTube thing, the whatever thing, we're going to do that. They try it for 3 months, doesn't work, waste everybody time, and then they switch. And what does that do to the team? It makes them feel frustrated. It makes them feel, why are we doing this again? We're going to try something new. And it's not part of a cohesive strategy.
Yes.
So you need to have a philosophy about marketing and a strategic approach first, and then put the different tools and tactics and optimizations in place to be successful.
So I want to pull some things out because I love this and I completely agree with everything you just said. When I think of marketing, it's it's we're all battling information overload, right? And when we're battling that, we're overwhelmed. We don't know what to do, and like you said, people just end up throwing stuff up against a wall, hoping something's going to stick, right?
Yep.
And hope is not a marketing strategy, right? And so the way I look at it is, strategy must come before tactics, right? I think of strategy like that fuel. And then when we put a plan together, that's where we're starting to outline what vehicles we're going to use. Any of the vehicles can work.
Yeah.
And frankly, most businesses need fewer vehicles rather than more. They need to
Yeah.
go deeper.
Yes.
But when we have a plan of what we're going to do, it helps eliminate that distraction. So
Yep.
so that when the newest tactic comes across our screen or in our inbox, we're like, no, man, it's not in our plan.
Yep.
Right. So it doesn't mean no forever. It just means no right now. We're going to
Yeah.
work this plan. When people just chase things, they can't measure,
No.
and
Well,
they just spin in wheels.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's really two like big principles that we do all of our marketing off of that fit exactly what you're saying, Tim. The first thing I always say is I believe the main philosophical way that you should look at marketing, I would say business, is through the eyes of the customer. Call it customer journey marketing.
Yeah.
Right. I always say this phrase when I'm talking to new clients or things. I say whether someone buys a pack of gum or a Porsche, they must go through the customer journey. They must, one, be aware of that you exist, or even aware that they have a problem. Sometimes marketing is you need to create awareness that they have a problem that you solve. So awareness. The second step is affinity, right? So I would say awareness is like, do I know you?
Yeah.
Do I know who you are? Great. Okay. Next step is affinity. Do I like you? Right. The next step is action, right? And that's what everybody feels like they're going after. I'm going after action. I'm going after sales. But if you really think about it, what an action step is them saying, I believe you, right? They're saying, you know what? I believe what you're saying enough where I'm willing to, to pull out my wallet, pull out my credit card, whatever it is, pay you for what you said you're going to do. And most companies stop there, but they're missing the single most important thing that you can be doing is the next step. And it's so obvious, but then so completely underutilized. And that is advocacy. Because somebody can believe you, but it's not until they trust you that they're going to get exponential return. And the trust comes from experience. You did what you said you're going to do. You gave me a great experience. You wowed me, all those different things. Because you got to think, like, there's one thing to get a transaction. It's another thing to get a customer who tells everybody they know about you, buys again and again, like adopts more of your product set, stays longer, signs longer contracts, leaves more positive reviews. And the value of an advocate is easily 30, 60, 100 times more than the average customer. But we don't think in that way. We're just like, I just want the next customer.
Yeah.
You and I, we deal with a lot of people in the MSP space and IT and telecom reselling this and that. And, I always say to them in a service-based business, I go, isn't it funny? I said, 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your customers. Everyone should, I said, yeah, because it's the Pareto principle. It's a law, the law of 80-20. But I said, isn't it interesting that the 20% that give you the most money are the easiest to work with? You enjoy them probably the most personally. They give you the most referrals. You have the most relationship in there. Like, yes. And I said, the 20% of your revenue that comes from the broad 80% of your clients, in fact, the ones that spend the least amount of money with you are the hardest to work with. They're the biggest pain in your company. They are the negative detractor, but yet they get all of our attention. The whole, squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of thing. But it's like, so if we're not intentional about the way we grow our business, literally all the attention and time is going towards this lesser value relationship that's not bringing the revenue.
Yeah.
But we don't stop and say, well, let's focus on the best customers, maximize that relationship with our best customers, because that's where the massive growth is going to come from. That is in that place, but we just don't do it because why? Because they're already settled. They're already satisfied. But say, no, be intentional about serving your best customers, and it's going to have the biggest impact on your business.
So, what's the most effective marketing strategy today?
Yeah, advocacy marketing. If you already have customers, right? If you already have customers, like you've got a decent customer base, then how you market to your customer after you have them, right? So you got to think, I would even say like even things like onboarding, right? We do a lot of things with automation and help brands automate their onboarding process and things like that. Consistency. You've got to deliver the goods. It's one thing for them to say that they believe you and pay for something. It's another thing for after they've received your product, after they've been onboarded, after that experience that they're like, I love these guys.
Yeah.
And there's, we have a very strategic system that we do. So at the right time, we're asking for reviews. We're doing surveys based on the result. We're asking for referrals or getting customer support involved, life cycle marketing, getting the right upsell at the right time. And there's more value there, more opportunity there than there is by trying to, do some front end LinkedIn marketing to get your calendar filled. Now, I'm not against front end marketing. I'm not against new client acquisition, but if you don't have a solid post-purchase system in place, you're missing it. Dan Kennedy has this great quote, and he says that he who can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins.
Yeah.
Now that's funny. It's like, well, wait a minute. Like, that's front-end marketing, how to get the most customers. Yeah. But here's the thing, in service business, especially, there's only two ways that you could spend more than your competition to acquire a new customer. One, you skimp on your delivery in your operations, right? We know those, some of the bigger companies, right? They spend all of their money on front-end marketing. They don't deliver the goods. They got poor reviews. In fact, most of the people that probably follow you, Tim, they're the ones like, yeah, I go in and sell them after because they've been hurt. They had a terrible relationship, but I deliver the goods and they love me. Right. So they skimp literally on operations, put all their money in the front-end marketing. But the other way you can compete is, what if you doubled the lifetime value of your customer? And that, to me, and metric wise, is probably, if not the single, top three most important metrics that you can look at in your business is the lifetime value of your customer. How much does that customer spend with you over their lifetime? And not only how much do they spend, how many people do they refer, and what's the value of their referrals? And then how many do they refer? I mean, if you can grasp the value of what a brand advocate means for your business, it's like 100-fold increase. And so if you could double the lifetime value of your customer, you could even compete on the front end more competitively because you get more on the back end. It's just, I believe it's the most ethical and effective way to market if you're a healthy business and you've got a decent client base.
So how would you specifically define advocacy marketing? Is it post purchase marketing?
I mean, it can be, but really what it is, I mean, I think it's there's a deeper relationship you can have with your customer. Can people advocate for you that have never bought from you? Sure, they could. They can like you to the point where I've actually had that. Actually, funny, I was at a major master agent kind of thing last week. I got invited to speak. I was trying to close this client. Never ended up closing the business, but they liked what we talked about so much that they had me be a guest speaker for one of their mastermind groups. So they had like a room full of MSPs, had me come in talking about advocacy marketing. So they were advocating for me, even though technically they're not my client yet. But typically, it's going to be in this idea of, like, I use this phrase, turn your customers into raving fans.
Yeah.
Right. Turn your customer into a raving fan, because there's a difference. Your customer base looks differently. There are some, again, that love you and some that don't have the best relationship with you. And again, it's just a weird dynamic. The amount of revenue that someone spends with you is almost tied to how much they like you, right? In this advocacy thing. But so you don't ignore your customers. And I'm not saying like you're gonna be like, yeah, I did great customer support and so on, but like you can communicate with them in a way that elicits them to share more of your stuff, leave more reviews, give you more referrals, buy more of your products. And we don't focus on that area. And again, it's we do it in a very tactful way. We've got all these different techniques that we use to not like feel like you're being salesy and upselling constantly and everything else. But that all comes from, if you truly are an organization that is there to serve people and solve their problems, the average MSP's got 15 to 20 different products and services that they offer.
Yeah.
Right. But average on adoption, there's 4 or 5 on average that their clients are having. So that means that 75% of their product mix is not being adopted on a regular basis. What would happen to a company if half of that got adopted? Massive revenue increase. And you didn't even have to spend $1 on advertising. You didn't have to give Google money. You didn't have to go buy Facebook ads, Insta ads, whatever. Again, not against those things, but you're missing the big thing. The big, awesome opportunity is found on the back end, but it's completely ignored.
Well, we spend so much time trying to acquire new clients. Why not maximize that opportunity, right? It's much less expensive to do more business with the people that you're already working with and to get referrals from those people. And that's really what you're focusing on with advocacy marketing. Yep. But it goes back to what you touched on in the beginning here. In order to do that effectively, you have to have the customer journey mapped out very well and understand all of the touch points on the back end that you're taking advantage of. And frankly, the way most people look at the customer journey is a funnel, right? Mm-hmm. But when they look at it as a funnel, they're missing all of the advocacy elements that are on the back end of that.
Well, and even going back to the funnel aspect, think about this, what an advocate does. When an advocate refers someone, you literally jump past awareness. right?
Yes.
Tim, you give me a referral and I already know who the person is. And my relationship with you and me trusting you is automatically I'm going to adopt that trust. I'm like, well, if Tim recommended him, that must be good. Right. So when you get on that phone call, all of a sudden you've leapfrogged through all of the awkwardness that you have with a net new lead that you're trying to pitch.
Yeah.
So the sales process is shorter. You get more. And if they trust you already more, they're going to buy more of your products. They're going to buy more of your stuff up front. So the sales process is even easier.
Yeah.
So like it perpetuates everything. And I tell you, like, I do a lot of like kind of coaching too. Like I do a lot of like kind of CEO coaching, life, I don't want to say life coaching. I don't know, but like, dude, entrepreneurship is hard, right?
Yeah.
Like you're up there, you're by yourself, you're solo. And I talk to, a group of guys pretty regularly. And we talk about things like, why did you start your business? Right? Like when you first started your business, what was the grand, glorious call that you had? What kind of lifestyle did you want? Like, I know for me, I can make that stuff front and center. I wanted a business where I could be at every single one of my kids' practices. I wanted to be soccer coach. I wanted to be this. I wanted to be that. I wanted to give opportunity, right? We start a business with all these big ideas of lifestyle and meaning and life and impact. Like those are the core things that actually drive us. And then all of a sudden, you're like, how do I make payroll? I'm working 60 hours a week, right? And all of a sudden, like you own this job that controls you, and you're stuck into this thing. So let me ask you a question: would you rather have the same amount of revenue but have half the customers? Would that be a better lifestyle business?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. So instead, what happens is you're trying to grow revenue, meet all these things, but you're doing it by all this new client acquisition. Then you're operating out of fear and doubts. You're getting smaller clients, maybe that aren't a best fit. And it all starts to build and all add up. And all of a sudden, this thing is out of control. And you got to go a million miles an hour just to hold it all together. But literally, if there were more advocates in your business, you can make more money. But even if it was the same amount of money and you had half the clients, better relationships, better connectivity, better trust, the ease on your business would be so much more. And isn't that valuable? I mean, what's the value of that? How do you place a numeric value on peace of mind, on consistency, on being able to be with your family and spend time with your kids and do the stuff that you want to do and go on the vacation, go for 2 weeks somewhere and not care about what you're leaving behind, right? Yeah. Those types of things are actually what that's the juice of life. That's the value of life. And that's not like a marketing thing, but it should be impacting the types of marketing and the decisions that we make. And advocacy marketing is that kind of thing that just like, it helps facilitate all of those types of things. Healthier business, more reliable, more peace, more joy, more impact. And again, it's just something that's ignored because we just go run right back to Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn direct messages. Would you want to be my client? Let's go, let's call. And again, I'm not against those things to get going somewhat, but we're missing a major component for, if we're not focusing on the post-purchase stuff.
I want to pull something out that you said, because it's honestly, it doesn't, I mean, we can tie it back to marketing, but you said, what you wanted out of your business was front and center. One, awesome, right? We have to know what we want out of our business. Otherwise, we end up building a business that doesn't serve us, right?
Right.
And so, there's a lot of business owners that don't really know what they want.
Yep.
And if we don't know what we want, we got to take a step back, identify that, because once we know what we want, that serves as a guidepost. It serves as a checklist where we can go, is doing this actually going to get me what I want? Yes, no. And it helps you make great decisions. Mm-hmm. So thank you for sharing that. I want to pull this back a little bit to the advocacy marketing side of it, because if this is jiving with people, which I certainly hope it is, because again, like, look, any marketer will tell you you're far better off maximizing the existing clients that you already have, and you guys really have this system dialed in. If I want to get more involved in advocacy marketing for my business, what do I need to do? What are those steps?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things you can do. I was going to mention this a minute ago. One of the things is, if you're not actually committed to taking care of your customers, don't even try.
Yeah.
Like if you're actually, because there are some businesses, I kind of alluded to them, a little bit ago, but if you don't deliver the goods, then don't even attempt it. Like, you've got to get your operations in place. You've got to get your, product delivery. You got to get customer support. You got to get those things in place, because you actually have to serve them. You actually have to take care of their problems, because all the right emails at the right time aren't going to matter at all if people are just totally dissatisfied with working with you, right? So any kind of marketing aspect is really just packaging up who you are and the story that you have and delivering it at the right time. So you got to be committed to great customer experience first, right? Number two, spend time with your customers. Like, what makes them tick? What is their buying motivation, right? Like I just mentioned a moment ago about how like you think about the passion of why you started your business and all those things. I'm going to tell you what, if if you're in contact with the C-suite, with the founder, with the owner of the companies that you get to serve, you got to ask those questions. What is their purpose? What do they want to do? Like, what's, a business is a vehicle for underlying goals and desires that they have. And the more that you can understand those goals, the more that you can serve those people. Right. And so get time to know people. And so like part of our system is things like surveys and, things at the right time to kind of get that information. But before you even have, like, let's say an advocacy system, who are your 10 best customers? If you can, take them out to lunch. If you can't, get on the phone with them, do something with them, get to know them, ask them what makes them tick, figure out what makes them uniquely then, because you might not even be aware of like, why are this group so attracted to us?
Yeah.
Right. And maybe there's part of your messaging or like the delivery of who you are that just really separated you. And you're like, oh, wow, I didn't even realize how much of an element that was. And now you get to maximize it. Right. So you got to know the people you're serving, you got to know what they want. I'll tell you, there's one of my favorite marketing books, which I don't even know if it's really a marketing book, but I'll tell you, there's a book called Wired to Care by Dev Patnaik. And it's all on empathy. It's all on empathy. And he's like a product development guy. He's got a product development thing, and they talk about how they design products for people. But the book is literally all about empathy. And I'll tell you, man, there's something that goes when you can develop the skill of empathy. And again, that's the essence of customer journey. The essence of customer journey is, because I think businesses look at things from my perspective. How do I get more of the people I want to my landing page? How do I get more of them to give me their email address? How do I get more of them to buy my product? And it's like, whoa, stop. Who are you serving? What are they looking for? What are the needs that they have? Because really great marketing is actually just serving their needs intellectually in a way that puts you as the value, as the authority, the thought leader, the expert that they're attracted to come and talk to. And that's a much better conversation to have than being like, oh, well, I was number one on Google Maps. And sure, yeah, local SEO, it's good. Let's be number one, right? But there's something more. I'm more attracted to who you are and who, and that's why, like, be very you. That's something I'm definitely, like, all my stuff, I'm really upfront about my family, my faith, my this and that. It's like, it's just who I am. And I attract certain people who want to be around a person like that. And that's better because, again, you're just doing relationships with people that you like better. So get to know people, get to, do things, and think about how can I continue to serve my clients after the purchase in a way that makes their experience a lot better, right? Like I'll give you just one example of one of the components. We have 8 major pillars in what we call our advocacy machine. The second one is called value add resources. So I always use this as a technology thing, right? Like I bought the new iPhone, right? The iPhone 15. This thing's like $1,500. Like it keeps getting more and more expensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I always make the joke. I'm like, the value of this phone is actually dependent on the individual. How valuable this phone is based on my ability to extract the value out of it. So just because you provide amazing value doesn't actually mean that people are getting it, right? Like if I decided to use this as a coaster, that's a pretty horrible use of $1,500.
Yeah, right.
If all I know how to do is make a phone call and send an email, still not that great. My ability to actually love this product is based on my ability to know all of the features, how it works, and extracts it out, right? Like if you guys are implementing phone systems, which most do, right? Why not send videos immediately after install showing them how to use the 7 most important features, right? You already bought them or everything, but all of a sudden their whole team, everyone's going to align, has this quick little thing they can reference. They're going to like it better. They're going to enjoy it more. They're going to have less questions. There's going to be less impact on your customer support, less complaints back to the IT guy. So all of it just adds to this, like, wow, I was able to extract more value out of it. So even post-purchase marketing is really just about a continual serving and understanding how can I continue to add value. And really that's all an upsell is, right? Educate. Educate. You got cybersecurity stuff, educate, talk about the threats, educate on them, talk about the vulnerabilities, and then make yourself available. And I'm here to talk if you want to solve that problem.
Yeah.
And that kind of aspect and idea of just continual service is a great way to do it. Now, little personal plug. If you go to our website, intentcompany.com, we have a resource tab. And under there, we've got a bunch of free tools. We've got all kinds of free stuff, customer journey stuff, advocacy stuff, all the things we're talking about. That's our way. We want to serve. I figure if I tell a story, build authority, the right people will come to us.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. So I heard you say two steps to getting started with advocacy marketing. The first one, super critical. Like if you're not already delivering an amazing experience and getting results, you got to get that fixed before you invest in advocacy marketing. Once you've got that dialed in, then we need to go back to what you initially talked about, which I focus on this as well. Like everything from a marketing standpoint starts with your target market and your ideal clients within that market. So we've got to identify who our ideal clients are.
Yep.
And then we need to take the time to really understand them.
Yes.
Talk to them, interview them, survey them. What was the buying journey like? What are their goals, their aspirations? Why do they buy from you? Why do they continue to work from you? All of that information lays the groundwork for you to really understand them. And once you do that, then you can start to put some of the necessary tools, tactics in place to build this advocacy machine.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, a good business that's committed to this should actually say no to certain leads.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that might be on thinking for some businesses, being like, wait, somebody wants to pay you money and you're going to say no. It's like, you've got to know your best customers so much that you're like, we're just not a great fit. I had to say that to somebody yesterday. We were talking like, could I have sold them something? Probably. But it sounds like you're just not the right customer for what we have, not the right fit. Appreciate you having time to talk, bless you. And you should do that.
Yeah.
Most businesses probably need to fire 10% of their clients.
Yep. Well, when you say no to somebody that's not a good fit, you're serving them. You're doing yourself a favor. You're doing your team a favor, because nobody's going to be happy long term.
No.
So, it's like, to me, when people make those decisions, it's all about making a quick buck than it is for really the long-term benefit of anybody involved. But unless you've identified who your ideal clients are, you can't even determine whether somebody's a good fit or not.
Exactly. Yep.
So I love it, man. Awesome stuff. Any last minute thoughts or, guidance you want to share with us, Billy?
Really, again, I just think that this type of marketing, this kind of idea, it's really it's an overflow of what's happening internally, right? As the leader, as the CEO, as the organization, whatever you're in, like, continue to feed and develop and grow who you are and your ability to serve people and your ability to solve problems. And the more you grow in an organization, it's actually more like the relational aspect. It's funny. I get more and more disconnected from my business. Things that I used to do 100% of the time 5 years ago, I don't even know how to do it anymore. I'm like, I don't know. I got a team for that.
Yeah.
So really founder-led sales, founder-led communications, like that's kind of where you got to get to, is you got to be in front of your customers, talking to them, figuring out ways that you can, serve them and bless them better. But if you have that heart where you're like, I am here to serve problems that serve you as the people I'm called to serve, solve the problems that you have, you're going to come up with so many creative ideas. And then all of a sudden, like we said, opening, you're going to use that as a framework. When this new TikTok strategy or the thing happens or this happens, you're like, wait a minute, is this a tool in my hand that I get to use to better serve the people I'm called to serve or to solve the problems that they solve? And if the answer is no, it's just not for you.
Yeah.
Right. And you adopt the things that are resonating with that. And so, just take care of people. It's really, I think that's simple.
And you already mentioned it. If people want to connect with you, intentcompany.com. Once they're on the site, they can go to your resources. You have all kinds of stuff there. So please, I would encourage you, if you've enjoyed this conversation that I've had with Billy, he obviously knows what the hell he's talking about. This whole concept of advocacy marketing is really resonating with you, head over there, connect with them. Billy, thank you for taking the time, man. I appreciate it. Those of you that are watching, listening, I appreciate you as well. If you want to connect with us, you can do that over at rialtomarketing.com. The other resource we always have is over at revenueroadblockscorecard.com. If you want to identify which of the 9 roadblocks are slowing down your growth, you can do that over there. So take advantage of it. Again, thank you, Billy.
Thank you.
Thank you, audience, for watching.
Having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Until next time, take care.